I invited Dr. Tori Higgins, an expert on flow and productivity, to have a conversation to help me and hopefully you get more productive and spend more time in flow. And the stuff that I learned blew my mind. And I tell you, I implemented this stuff and I feel more clarity, more presence. I feel more joy in my day, which is crazy because I've read the books on flow. I did this stuff and it didn't work the way that it worked with Dr. Tori Higgins. So here's the summary of that conversation. Here's the stuff that I hope helps you be more productive. The first thing is to work in bursts and breaks. Your body works in cycles, these biorhythms. And if we can tackle these cycles, if we can surf onto them, Dr. Tori Higgins says, well, then we got this like extra momentum, this extra boost. It's like eat when you're hungry, don't eat when you're full. Work when you've got the energy, don't work when you don't. But these rhythms are actually not that balanced, right? They're not 30 on, 30 off. They're like 25-5, 90-15. Find your blend. But Dr. Tori Higgins says work your way up to 90 minutes on, 15 minutes off. What's more important is the off. How you break matters. And I said, no, it doesn't. She goes, you idiot, of course it does, because your brain's got to recharge. You ever go to a hotel room and forget your charger and how awful that is? That's what your brain feels like when you just power through for 3, 6, 9 hours in a row. Taking micro breaks, whether it's 5 minutes or 15 minutes, matters so much. But what I didn't know is that checking email, going through my notifications, just scrolling is not the way to break, even though it feels so good in the moment. She says you want your breaks to be boring. So boring that your work looks awesome by comparison. So for example, wall staring, foam rolling, stretching, gentle walking, something that keeps you engaged but takes your brain a little bit out of the screen. Basically, don't check your phone. That was the hardest message to take into consideration. But once I did, I'm telling you, it's like more time got added to my skull. I feel more flow and also more present because I'm not context switching to another like virtual world, and I'm still in this container that I've created for myself. So how I break has transformed. I'm foam rolling all the time. Where is it? Right here. I wish I had an Amazon link for this bad boy. Do it. It really, really makes a difference because it feels like more time has been added. But eventually I do get tired and I do get into low energy, and Dr. Tori Higgins says that's no problem if you're doing the right thing. After lunch, I'm dead weight. She says that's fine. Your brain is primed for some productivity, but do the right thing. Engage in divergent thinking. What's that? That's the broad thinking. That's the crazy, big picture, weird connections type of thinking. That's what your brain's doing awesome when it's tired, when it's not got its defense mechanisms up. And I said, okay. So I started brainstorming, started doing more visionary work for the company right after lunch. And I'm noticing, hey, this is pretty effortless. That's kind of awesome. Yeah, your brain's primed for that. That's what Dr. Tori Higgins told me, which is great because otherwise I would have Netflixed and slept and sapped all of my energy. But at some point I do get tired. It's 4 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock. I'm just like, I put in a hard day's work. I've been up since 7. What do? You gotta actively recover, says Dr. Tori Higgins. Sauna, read, go on a walk, meditate, sleep, do stuff that engages your mind and relaxes it. Don't scroll, don't watch Netflix, don't do stuff that's just gonna flood your brain with dopamine chemicals that is inorganic. You gotta earn it by being present with what you're doing. So now I'm cooking more. I'm basically doing everything to leave the phone behind because Dr. Tori Higgins says you gotta live a life that's fully on and fully off. When you're at work, be fully on at work. But when you leave work, turn off the work, which means leave your phone behind. Resist that temptation to check your phone after dinner, which I love doing, and instead be present with your cat, Michael. Be present with your cat, your wife, yourself, and spend time doing stuff that matters. You don't want to half-ass both. You want to live a life that's fully expressed, which means being in it. And that's how I got more flow. That's how I feel more awesome throughout the day because I'm surfing my body's natural rhythms. I'm taking advantage of my biology. I'm working in breaks and bursts and actually taking those breaks. And more importantly, when I got that low energy, I'm still squeezing a little bit more productivity by doing divergent thinking. And then I really have prioritized taking care of myself. Now I sauna, now I exercise, now I go on a walk, I cook, but most importantly, I leave the phone on the bookshelf. And that's made a huge difference. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Just living a life that's juicier, that's more present, that's balancing what you do outside of work with what you do at work and being productive in both. It was a game-changing episode for me. And if you want to listen to it, there's a link in the chat. The video is going to be somewhere around me. Click on that, watch the full episode. More importantly, commit to feeling more flow in your life because it feels awesome and there are things you can do today to make it happen.